And we are welcoming in journalist and NewsNation contributor Lindsey Granger for more on this live. Lindsey, welcome. And I know you've been in Denver. You have seen this issue firsthand. What was your reaction to the city clearing these encampments?
Yeah, I think there's an ultimate friction between residents who don't want the encampments around the city and want to provide real shelter. And then also, like you said and mentioned, what migrants and migrant organizations are asking for. So I think the thought process from government officials that want to remove the encampments is like, listen, if we provide housing and shelter for you for 7 days, which is a big change from the 72 hours they were providing to single people prior to this, you should have time to clear your mind. And even if you have to get some undocumented work right now, just try to get off your feet and have time to clear your mind and hopefully be on a path towards alternative, better residency. But some of the migrants that are there are really asking for specific things before they move. Like you mentioned, some of those things are just providing access to the type of foods that they would like to eat that are culturally appropriate. Some of the other things are access to immigration documentation without being in the shelter. They want to know that they can be on the path too without being the part of the mayor's newcomer program. And so I think that it's causing a friction because there are a lot of tensions in the city between people who actually want to help and good help organizations, and then people who think this is just overwhelming for Denver as the city that has the most migrants per capita at the moment.
Yeah, the most migrants per capita. I appreciate you bringing that up. And let's talk about the asks, because we are seeing this list of demands from some migrants in the city. Were you surprised by this?
Yeah, some of them, it's just down to a humanitarian issue. Having access to food is something that people need. Not getting in verbal or physical altercations with staff is some other things on their list. Transportation for children to and from school is another thing on their list. But I'm actually surprised because I understand that Denver's mayor, Mike Johnston, like he talked about in our interview, has been doing more than a lot of mayors across the country to try to find ways to solve this, even pulling from things like the police budget, the fire department, our Department of Transportation. So when you get hit with a list of 13 demands from migrant organizations on the outside looking into other communities and other mayors that are not calling themselves quote unquote sanctuary cities, this can look like a big issue, like kind of like if you give a little bit of an inch, then people take a mile. And so it's going to definitely draw controversy all around.
Tell me about the people in Denver. What is the push and pull there? Because, we're looking at that list of demands, and I think a lot of people are interested in humanitarian aid when it's needed. But I think some Americans may hear, they want culturally appropriate food. They shouldn't be here. I mean, tell me about the push and pull of the actual populace that's living in Denver.
Yeah, it's really a tough situation because when you think about it, there are homeless people in Denver, just like every other city. There are people struggling, especially in this economy within the city confines. And so you have cities that border one another, like Denver and Aurora. And Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky was on NewsNation a few weeks ago complaining about pulling a single penny from any departments to fund migrants because there are people here right in the community that might need things. But then there are community organizations like Denver Friends Church that I've been to and other organizations that are really stepping up and giving all their time and resources to providing safe shelter because they feel this is a humanitarian crisis and people are here escaping major tragedy and circumstance from places like Venezuela. So it's our duty to continue to let the country be built on immigration. So I think the border between those two things is that there has to be some order and some kind of way to make this make sense. And I think no matter what side of the aisle you're on, some federal reform will have to come in some place because this is unmanageable for any one city beyond past what our budget has lent itself to throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, and you mentioned these cuts. We know after Congress rejected a measure in February that would have sent money to help cities like Denver, the mayor announcing he had to cut $45 million from other departments to address the needs of the people who are arriving. And now we're learning that the city is scaling back on that aid. Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of things that were initially stated that were going to be the cuts were things like furniture in the police department or, unnecessary needs. He mentioned that there'll be no forward-facing police officers being cut, noting that there are 170 new officers that are expected to come into the Denver Police Department. So it would be small behind-the-scenes things. But to people in the city who want to feel protected, safe, and know that they have all the things that they're paying their tax dollars for, it has become problematic. And they're trying to figure out ways to make sure that they're taking care of their own needs at home, especially in this time, in the middle of a political election year, in the middle of this economy economy and all the high inflation, people are really trying to figure out how that's manageable when we can't even manage things in our own vicinity.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.